about your revelations. Tell me about your revelations. Tell me about your revelations. Okay, let's do this. Yes.
I am fired up this week.
Let's do
I
it.
will not be taking any bullshit. I set the intention like maybe a week or so ago that let's rewind. Okay. So maybe like a year plus ago, there was an interaction. And after that interaction, I was like, subconsciously, like, okay, my spiritual gifts, like my psychic gifts are harmful. Like this hurts, this interaction hurts. So I'm just gonna like tune it down. I'm gonna just turn it all the way down and just do things that feel super safe and everything because I'm so hurt by this one interaction. And then like a few days ago I realized like, yeah, I'm still in that place where I had this interaction, I was hurt, and I decided like I'm not gonna fully allow those gifts that my awareness to come through because I don't want that to happen to me again. And which is messed up when you think about it, when you're not allowing yourself to be fully authentic because you're worried about this one thing compared to like the other wonderful things that have come up, the things that are available to you when you're being authentically yourself. So I've been doing work to just like clear that out. And then just the mirroring showed up in terms of like, okay, so you're ready to be who you're ready. You're gonna trust what you see in your inner eye now. And just that reflection of like, okay, yes, what I've seen, what I've been shown with my inner vision, and I've been kind of tuning out in order to like play some role that's not fully who I am, to play some role that's like Alanna, but like tuned down a little bit so that I can fit in to a particular space. And then it's exploding now. Exploding in a good way, let's say. Like it's been a long time coming, but it's like it's exploding. I'm just like, I see a vision of me just exploding out of a box. It's like, ah! I'm out of this. Like, I'm not containing myself. My gifts are out. Like, I see you for who you are now. I am not going to fool myself. I'm not going to fool my inner vision. I have eyes to see, and I see it clearly now. That it's been evidenced so many times. Why am I gonna like go back to sleep and pretend that I don't know and see these things? It's been my theme of this week. It's been so much. It's been so much, and we know, like as mystics, like we can't run away from this stuff. It's glaringly, it's just glares at you in your life. It's just been like boom, boom, like one thing after the next, and I'm just like, okay, I see it. Yes, yes, okay. My mind is like, oh my gosh, go away, and my inner child's like, screw you guys, and I'm just. I need to go to my sacred tree. I need to go to my sacred garden. Mm-hmm. Let me just get back. Get back to myself. That's been the thing. Has that been showing up for you, or what's your theme?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like since our first revelations recorded, right? Because we've had many in between time. But since even our first one, it's been this, it's like initiation by fire, right? Like, yes, we're initiated, we're adepts, but talking about us in our mastery, in our purpose, like our home frequency of our truth, and life being like, oh, okay, well, you're mastering grace, you're a master of grace. Okay, bet. Well, let's throw this, let's see, like, can you see yourself in that, right? Like, where is the mastery coming through? And for me, it was just, of course, like me on my own journey of feeling like, well, okay, well, maybe I need to express this way and only this way and try to put myself in boxes, as you were saying, of, okay, well, then okay, I'll play with this box and see, but it's not me fully, because if I show out fully, right, I used to hear, right, you're on the borderline of cocky and confidence, inching towards cocky, right? Like showing up as your full self, or you're too much, or all the things. And then it's, well, then if I go full out in whatever I want to share, like we're channel. So then it whatever comes through in that divine grace is what comes through. And for me, it was that feeling like, oh, well, if I say it this way, say it that way, then how will it be? Can I be my full self? I want to channel through in writing and speaking and painting and making in all of these ways. And well, if I'm doing all these things, then, well, how am I going to be quote unquote received or understood? In the sense of me and my inner perfectionist. And the whole point is, I'm a freaking paradox. So it's no way, it's not going to happen. One, my soul continues to unfold. Our souls are unfolding. It's no way that we're ever going to be pinpointed in time as this is you, exactly you. And how is someone else going to understand you fully? And you're still uncovering yourself. That's what this whole life journey is. So for me, grace was just like, in my face, look, this is how it comes through. Illuminating grace is my home frequency. I can't hide it, whether I'm having a great day, as my mind says, or my mind is like, we're having some crappy moments. Illuminating grace still comes through. So my initiation by fire was definitely like family situations and family emergencies, as well as me and myself. Right? Because at the end of the day, everything's reflecting you, right? Like you and your sacred covenants with yourself, you and your devotion to returning to yourself, right? Like, oh, you're devoted to return to yourself? Bet. Okay, well, let's see you be in your essence in the midst of utter chaos, right? If everything else is burning around you, can you be right there in the center in your essence of grace, being like, right? And like this being the theme, as well as, we had energetic shifts over the last, everybody being like, look, we need to cleanse, we need to purify, we need to get it together, skin acting up. I mean, all of the things. And for me, my initiation by fire resulted in me showing up as teacher, right? Like as that part of me, that aspect of me coming out more fully, in the sense of, it's just one of my soul archetypes that I have to honor. And me at this point being like, well, all of these initiations into grace and life coming through us and showing us who we are as well as who we are not, right? Like where's the love and where we're finding ourselves separating from each other, from others, from ourselves even, and being like, well, here's a reflection. And if you're going through this, and how many others are going through this? Like right, you asked for this, right? You devoted your life to be here at this point. So are you're not going to show up? And now I feel like so much, Alanna, oh my goodness. Now it's no room for hiding. You cannot hide. I don't know what it is, mystics, if y'all feel it too. You cannot hide. It's no longer an option. I feel like before, you weren't really showing up. You could get by. You're trying to work through it. Woo, woo. But that switch, it's a switch that happens. Something that pours through that is fiery, right? Like me, water is my main element for the cleansing, for me being in flow. And these past few weeks and months, that fire element was in there and being like, look, we got to burn this shit away. You don't have time to not be. You don't, right? Like there is no time for the BS anymore, right? Like we're showing we have our work is too important. The great work, we have shit to do. We have shit to do. We need stuff to be birthed, right? No longer I'm up here wondering why my body's all achy, right? My soul's trying to birth something. I kid you not. I woke up at like 2 something last night, right? Just working through some graves with my family situation, everything, working through some graves. And then my soul was like, okay, great. Now here's this course I need you to channel through. Here it is. So I'm up on my phone, right? Like, okay. I'm just going. By 3:51, I'm like, all right, now it's bedtime. Let me go back to sleep. Like it's nonstop.
My soul did the same thing right before when I was ready to go to bed. My soul was like, oh, by the way, and why don't you email them right now? Like, just email. I'm like, because I know I'm not going to be able to sleep if this just doesn't come through. But yeah, keep going. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's
what happened to me last night. It's just like,
right. It's to the point where you can't not. And we have our beautiful sessions with Pamela, and in my last session, I had a challenge of, showing up, and showing up is like, sharing and doing it more. And I hit the point where I'm just like, and I was sharing more on social, wherever it is, that for me, it was a challenge for me of being like, well, if I'm going to how do I make this sacred for me? Doesn't matter if I continue on this platform or not. For me, it's about showing up and channeling through and sharing the messages that are coming through. No matter if my hair isn't the way I want it to be, my skin's acting up, I'm showing up in my satin bonnet, whatever it is, right? Of being like, this is what it is, because this is truly how we are, is it not? It's like these moments where we're just being. And if we have to go and get glamorized every single time, right? We have to stop ourselves from.
Yeah. It's not gonna, that's just not, we're vessels of light. Light is instant. It's just, it needs to come through.
It needs to come through.
You can't be like, wait, hold on a second, let me put my concealer on.
Right. Or hold on, like let me find the right word for this or that. No, because then it's biased. Right? Anyway, like how has that been for you? Like this week, this month, just even today?
So, like in preparation for sacred expression, and the first module is language of the soul. I've been channeling people's soul for years. Like, I know what this is, but guess what? When you're preparing to be a vessel, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna remind you. And then it's just like, it's like all of the triggers, all of the stuff comes through. And then I'm just like, oh, shit. It's like, okay, I see you. Thank you for reminding me of all of this. And okay, yeah. And it's a reminder of like each moment that I am not just this body. Because I remind myself constantly, yes, I'm feeling like going through lots of root chakra stuff right now. And feeling an identity stuff right now. And at the same time, I'm like, okay. And you're so expansive. And the universe is around you. And how am I going to play with the universe with this? In this? How can I expand? How can I go through the very real emotions I'm going through, and and connect with the universe and be expansive and at the same time. So connecting with my magical forest and garden, that's what I've been doing. And just so allowing myself to just do things in time, like do things as it, allowing myself to rest, realizing like, hey, this isn't the type of thing where I need to bang something out by a particular deadline, because the soul is working with me, God is working through me. It's coming out when it's ready to come out. Whatever needs to be released for sacred expression is going to be released. And like you said, you're birthing something. I'm birthing something is coming out, and and I feel it. I know it. My soul is gonna be like, all right, it's time. And my mind will just be like obliterated. And that's just how it is. We are those vessels as mystics. And it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with us. We are human beings and we are vessels of light and love at the same time. So that means that we have these experiences that seem really painful. And then we have, hopefully, you have beautiful support, whether it is through teachers or friends, to remind you, hey, okay, girl, I'm here for you. I see you. I validate you. And I'm here to remind you that you are loved. You are more expansive. So we gotta be there for each other. We're not like we're few and far between. So like it's so important to keep these sacred connections and to just be like, you good? You okay? Like to talk. I'm here, you know? But yeah, we were talking about being in a box, and I just want to read something to you that my soul wanted. My soul was telling me. Okay, so you felt stuck because you trapped yourself in a box that wasn't you. You are an innovator. You are beginning to learn that you grow things from your mind into form. This expresses itself in many ways, yet the box you put yourself in, think of it like you're merely trying it on for size. You say, I see the template of the role I think I'm meant to fill. I see how others do it. Now I will step out of the box and modify it so it's more me and less of a box. Think of it as more of a bridge and a stepping stone and a pathway. It's not a stopping zone, it's a place to collect your souvenir and leave. So, some habits that I've had in the past is like, oh, someone sees a teacher in me. Let me put on my teacher hat. Let me play this role of teacher from like all the other teachers I've seen and do that. And then after a while I just get soul sucking. And that's because like you're playing a role that you don't even realize that you're playing instead of just being your natural self. And that's the way you teach. And same goes for like other different roles or things that people have told you that you are. Just remind yourself that like when you're tired of doing something, ask yourself, you're truly like running your own energy. You're truly being authentic when you're doing it. Because there's a reason, like my mind will say, oh, I'm tired of making jewelry. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. That was a theme that happened earlier this week. I don't want to do it anymore. And then it was like, okay, well, why is that? And it turned out like I wasn't allowing myself to create, like for it to just come through. Like I was creating things for many things for other people, which is good and well, and I'm grateful for that. But I wasn't allowing my flow, my creative flow, my creative juices to just come through and just see like see this vision in my mind for something, and I'm just gonna like let that. That's how like I do clearings, like how you paint as well. Like I wasn't allowing that channel be clear and flow through. And then my mind processed it as, I don't want to do this ever.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. I hate it. So I had to go to my secret garden and just like sit next to a tree and just sit there in the sun and just listening to my heart, what my heart was telling me, like, do you actually want to stop doing this? No. It's just that I need to maybe slow down a bit more. When my mind is like, how can we slow down anymore? We're already slow. Can we really slow down anymore? And then it's just thinking of that as abundance too, allowing yourself, because that creative flow, when ideas come to me and then I'm like, oh, but I need to work on this first. That's like blocking off a creative channel. And that doesn't feel good after a while. So allowing yourself to just express as it comes through naturally. So I went on a tangent there.
No, this tangent is so relevant because it's like these are the common ways in which we block ourselves, but we don't realize we're blocking ourselves. And really when you are, how do I even put this? When you are creating and you're in your flow, right? Like flow for me is just when I know I'm in it, like I'm not even thinking about time, nothing else, right? You be in the thing for hours, doesn't even matter, right? Timelessness. And it'll be those moments where I notice this idea of a quote unquote block will come in when I'm thinking about, well, I don't know how, like, I don't know, does this look right? Does it not? But what if? And I'm realizing like all of that stems from this fear about someone else liking it or not liking it, rather than it just being about this is what you want to create. Who gives a fuck, right? Like, and that's a sacred F word. I'm just gonna use it as a sacred F word there, right? Like, who cares? Who cares? This is not about another's gratification. Yes, as a byproduct, someone may love it, want it, all that, and that's beautiful too. Though this is an act of you creating for your soul, with your soul, and in your soul's sacred expression, and for your soul's sacred craft. Like this is a part of honing your soul sacred craft, whether it is, right, like bringing someone into their peace, is you bringing yourself into your peace, whether it is them having their own sacred expression, you honoring your sacred expression. Like this is about that journey, that timelessness, that communion, and communion is what's coming up, and us really tuning into ourselves. And like, what if we thought about our art, our writing, our beautiful practices that allow for us to be in communion with ourselves, with our souls. And if it's sacred communion, then at that point, everything else outside of that moment is just like, as you said, obliterated. Because then you're instantly tapped back in. You're like, wait a minute, this is about sacred communion with my soul. How is my soul showing me that, she wants to paint? Or how is my soul showing me that she wants to loop this wire? Really, how is my soul showing me that she wants to write this verse, right? Like, at that point, it's just you and your soul, and nothing else matters. And there's just so much with that.
And you know what happens when you do that? You become a magnet, you become a vortex for more of that abundance. Because you naturally think like, I have other stuff to do. I have bills to pay. I have like stuff to worry about. And you don't prioritize the communion with the soul. When reality, as mystics, as mystical people, that's the way you you can create and attract all of that stuff. Communion with the soul.
Yeah. That's what it's about, is it not? Or is the entire journey not about communion with the soul, with God within us, and being in the midst of that, not just, well, what's the outcome of that? Especially as sacred makers. And I'm getting this sense of these shifts from just the talking and the logic around just life into the feeling, the movement, the expression of life, the being of life, the sacred making of life, like making a sacred life. And all of your creations, relationships, containers, roles that we're creating for ourselves is all around that, centered around making a sacred life. And that communion with the soul is the foundation of every single thing that we do. That's the journey of life itself. I don't know, that's what I'm sensing. What are you sensing in these shifts? Ooh, and maybe we can get on like, these soul shifts.
What I'm feeling is that we just need to be very present and mindful when we have these old ways of thinking in play, like, because everything that's coming up, we're no longer like boxed in terms of like, this is my work, this is my play, this is my like my platonic relationship. These like it's the sacred is everywhere. And once you like open yourself up to this like way of being, like it will show itself up. Whatever is going on in the subconscious is showing up in all of your relationships. And all of it. It's showing up in your work, play, and you can't hide from it. And I know I mentioned that before, but I'm mentioning it again. Be super present and aware of when your mind is saying like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, I hate it. That's an opportunity to explore deeper. That's not an opportunity to say like, okay, I'm with you. Let's just stop doing it. It's an opportunity to say, I hear you. Now let's see how can we make this sacred again? What happened to make this shift? So, and these shifts are happening rapidly.
Yes.
Rapid movements, rapid change. As soon as you make one decision to walk away from something, everything else, like, just let it all fall down and soothe your mind, soothe like whatever parts of you are freaked out. Let it all fall down behind you. Know that when you make decisions, some other energy may try to latch back on and say, no, we want you to stay. Be present and aware of your power that you are moving forward. Okay? We all have that power. We all have that. It's not even mindfulness, but if you feel like you're not able to connect with that, then you absolutely need spiritual teachers, spiritual guidance to help you. Like someone that you really trust who can be that sacred mirror for you. If you don't have any like relationships in your life, like absolutely, like spiritual mentorship is just so important. It's always important, but like especially right now with these changes, it's just so like from 1 second to the next, you can be in this new prosperous energy, or you can be in this like draining hell. And it's not to say that like you should bypass anything that's happening, but you should be aware of the energy you're putting out. Be aware of you're reflecting. have some more awareness, have someone teach you, show you that, have someone show you what your gifts are, how to navigate this world. Because if you're highly sensitive, if you have gifts that you're not sure how to use or what they even are, you absolutely need to invest in yourself in this way. When I was initially waking up and exploring like my gifts and everything, and then I decided I'm making this a priority. Like no matter what, like I'm making sure that I'm gonna be prioritizing my spiritual mentorship, that I'm working with someone. And I know it's expensive. And yes, it's worth it. It's
Same.
worth it.
Same. Never
Oh,
look back. Yep.
this life is not just physical. There's so much happening in the like interior castle, in the inner worlds of ourselves, that we cannot ignore anymore. We're not, once you're awake, you're awake. You cannot ignore
Nope.
what's happening on the inside. And that's why a spiritual mentor is so important for that. There was another thought that was coming there that will come back, but it went away. I'll ask that to come back. But what are you feeling?
It's the investing in yourself is, I feel like that's a whole freaking month's worth. Whole month's worth. I mean, years worth. I don't even know how.
People are like, I want to know like what my purpose is or what my gifts are or what like tell me, show me what to do, and then you don't want to invest in yourself, and it's like, what?
It doesn't work, right? Like, let's have a moment for that, because I feel like also, right, our souls, our universe, our lives are reflect that to us too. Of, it's not just about you talking your talk, it's about you walking your walk. Part of being a mystic, especially in this world, and being one that's practical, is treading your path. Period. There's no, you can't go around it. And this idea of, oh, well, I'm just gonna set an intention and then just do nothing. You're like, what? Right? Faith without works is dead. It's just no. And like, we want people to invest in us, in our creations, in our careers, in our paths, but we're not investing in ourselves. It does not work. This is energy. This energy must be in circulation, period. And this is something that is so essential. I mean, you and I, like, we've both been investing in ourselves for years, and not just for play, right? Like, investing in ourselves in deep devotion, our spiritual teachers, our spiritual peers, our craft, our everything. Like, this is where it revs up. At the end of the day, it's like, well, who's my care team? My spiritual care team, right? Like, investing in ourselves to know, well, what does it mean to heal ourselves? Investing in courses where we get to learn about that self-healing, whether it's Reiki, whether it's plant medicine, whatever it is. Investing in that mentorship and that sacred guidance, because yeah, you can totally, kick your head against the wall, right? My soul's giving me kicking your head against the wall because she says it makes no sense, right? And go it alone and all that, but that is not the vibration that we are in right now. It's not. It hasn't been for a long time. And she's reminding me of one of my guides this week was the ivy. It's the ivy. And ivy, you see on the side of buildings, just like wrapping around and everything. That's about, partnership and sacred relationships and having your sacred foundation. So you're growing and they're growing too. This is about that mutual circulation of love, of compassion, of investing in ourselves and investing in each other, full out, and being that reflection that we want to see. No one's going to come on a white horse and save us. That's not where we're at as a collective. Okay. And that's not where we're at individually. And that's disempowering. You got to learn how to work with the universe, flow with those mystical laws and universal laws. Work with your guides. Your guides are not here to save you. You are just as powerful as they are. Okay? It's working with them. How did they get their frequency to that level of compassion? What are the lessons they have for you in integrating that in your own life along your own path and journey, right? Investing in your unlearning, investing in your inner knowing, investing in developing your own way, your own path, and doing that in a way that is empowering for you. And really catching yourself when these beliefs of, oh, I can't, or oh, it has to look like this, or oh, that's too XYZ. Look, if you can learn how to go and make a recipe from YouTube or a book, okay, and you haven't cooked a day in your life, I don't know who this is for out there, but this is for you. Send us a note. Okay, we love you. We feel you. Okay, if that's possible for you, anything is possible for you, right? We learned how to walk. We didn't have any kind of, right? It was just in tune. It's already within us. All of this is already within us. Abundance is already within us. Heaven is already within us. All of the things that we're out here seeking externally is already within us. And this is the age, the era to tune in. This is the age and era to tune in, I feel like more than ever before, because that's where the rubber meets the road. Okay. At this point, you're listening to this and you have, your soul has been yanking you and being like, look, here's the thing we need to do. And you've been like, I don't know, soul. And then in the meantime, soul is moving everything else out of your life right now. Have a moment, pause, and ask your soul, what is relevant about this? What's your message for me? What am I missing here? Okay. Because when the path spreads for you, it's likely for a reason. It's likely for you to tune in, for you to return, for you to get the message. Okay, that your soul's like, look, I'm right here. I'm your greatest companion. And I'm the one that's leading the mind when you train yourself to allow that to happen. When you get the mind in order, when you get the body in order, in a sense of clearing that energy, allowing the body to measure for you and let you know if you're on track, your path, or if you're veering off a little bit, it may be a little painful, but you can come back. Everything's good. You're going to get to your destination no matter what. But like, it's the time to tune in. Now is not the time for anything less. And that is meaningful for everyone in their own sacred way, in their own sacred path, in their own sacred expression. And everyone can start from where they are right now. Wherever you are in your life right now, you can begin, you can start. The journey is already unfolding for you. Mm-hmm. Now, will you allow yourself to tune into that and actually listen to it? And when you need support, ask for it, seek it out, because those who seek shall find. I know we're going in. So you like,
oh, I'll
stop.
I can keep going. Like, do you know how much work that Diamond and I do to be present and in our home frequency? Like, it is a priority.
Yes.
Every single day.
Oh.
Every single moment.
I was about to say every single moment. Yes.
When I'm feeling like, oh, this is off. Like, let me clear this before it becomes a thing. You know how many years it took to get to this point? And we're still expanding. We're nowhere near done. It's still, there's still so much to learn. But you know how much work it took to get here to this point. To allow yourself to open up so much, to allow your heart to break open over and over again, and to fill that void with yourself, with your love, to feel whole again. Like, damn, this is no joke.
No joke.
And so when my soul is funny, when people are like, oh, this is expensive, it's like, Yeah, because when you lower your prices, you get people that are not devoted, that are not committed, that waste your time, that
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that sacred commerce. Yes.
that just are not in it. And the work that is required to not just hold space for another being, but to guide them is way more than what happens in like a 30-minute session or an hour session. So much work that happens in other unseen realms that we're processing through us. So yes, expensive.
And have that be a relative term, right? Because what does that even really mean? You know, like that is relative. It's relative to the individual, and having that be sacred for them and having that be fine and pointing them in the direction of, you know, here are some resources that can get you started. If that is the case for them, yes. But like, we cannot craft our lives around the expectations of others. And we cannot craft our lives around the beliefs in lack that others may have and may want to project upon us. That is not the energy that, at least you and I, we are not in that.
Yeah, and I fool myself sometimes, but I'm back.
Right. We're human. We have moments. That programming is deeply ingrained in each and every one of us when it comes to when we're talking about money, when we're talking about investing, all these things. And something that has helped me along the way is realizing that it ain't about me. It ain't about you. If someone is going to invest in themselves, that's a them thing. That's an investing in themselves. And we just happen to be the guides along the way. We just happen to be creating the space for them to do that work that they really, truly want to do. And this is something that all of us out here as sacred makers and sacred creators need to really, really get. Everything is not about you. Your soul has a purpose. Your soul doesn't care. You make money, not make. God doesn't care about your bank account. So let's right. This is where the soul and the mind come together and create together, because your sacred expression, your sacred craft is beyond anything that anyone could ever quote unquote put a value on, period. Okay. Now, what that comes down to as you're merging and allowing your mind to come in tune with your soul is, okay, mind, now we want to do this comfortably. We want to have a comfortable life as we are expressing, as we are doing our thing, and allow the mind to have that creative source from your soul to then create multiple possibilities and diversify those possibilities and create an experience around that. Because let's be real, if someone is coming to another, they are trusting them to support them along their journey. And that requires a level of devotion, and that requires agreements together. Now, everyone out there, you need to have your sacred agreements when it comes to yourself, you and your soul, as well as next, you and those that you choose to create space for and serve. Because that's an agreement. It goes both ways. It's not an expectation. Okay. Expectations are not two-way streets. It's one-way streets. Okay. It's not an assumption. And you all know, you know the phrase. Okay. Assumptions make an ass out of you and me. Yes. Okay. This is an agreement that you are making. And this is an invitation for those who feel like, hell yes, like I wanna work with you, then that's a hell yes. And if it's a no, allow it to be a no. Now allow that no to be sacred, and allow that no to be spacious for you to create in beautiful ways, and spacious for the person saying no to create in their own beautiful way. You may just be a stop along the way, right? As we were sharing earlier, you may just be a detour along the way to reflect something to them that either their soul is like, okay, I need you to see this. I need you to experience this. I need you to make this sacred decision for yourself and be empowered as you do. Like this whole us and the lack and creating from lack. No, like we can allow that to burn in our own sacred ways and be empowered in our sacred creation in a way that allows for sacred commerce to be mutual in love, mutual in respect, mutual in support and nourishment, and creating from that. Like, oh.
Yes. And you're going to teach more about this sacred expression, the into form module, and
Yes. Oh, I love how, y'all, we're like, well, how do we want the flow to be? And of course, us is how we create and how we channel. It just flows through and we don't know beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we're like, oh well, yes, I love that as the foundation for sacred expressions into form. Yeah.
Yep. And yeah. So I'm opening up opportunities for people to purchase the class instead of like the entire sacred expression package. So you can purchase the class, email me about that. Is there anything else that you want to share or express?
I am in my season of sacred making. So we're going to flow through that and see what wants to come through there. As far as mentorship enrollment has closed, though those, because, I love creating and from a space of spaciousness, and I want to give just those and my students just all of the spaciousness and to create in beautiful, magical ways, as well as honor the ways in which soul wants to come through. There's so many courses and sacred teachings that want to come through, and that spaciousness is for allowing those to finally be birthed into form, because they've been there for a few years and soul's like, we ain't got time to be playing. So some sacred courses will be coming through. Alanna and I will be also working on some beautiful sacred courses together that are likely to roll out 2023, and just so much goodness. But as far as working one-on-one, send me an email. We'll see what my availability is and just have sacred conversations as well. So that's what's going on this end, as well as the journey. Okay, podcast continuing on as we flow and yeah.
Hope to be doing this more frequently.
I feel like we will, now that our soul's like, all right, we're done with the can't hide anymore. It is what it is.
All right.
Ooh, we invite everyone to send in your questions and let us know, right? Yeah, like sending your questions, let us know like what topics are really urgent for you. What questions do you have? And we can answer them as we are just sharing and creating these episodes with you, as well as for you. Yeah, keeping it anonymous. Yes.
Ask the mystic. Yeah. And ask.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to announce I'm opening up small group mentorship. So like groups of like 3 to 4, including myself, just being able to meet monthly for spiritual guidance and support. So reach out to me. Small group work.
Yes. That's everything for now. Yeah, we'll see. I feel like the soul wants some things to be birthed with us together, but we shall tune into that and see what wants to come through there. So yeah.
Thank you guys for listening.
We love you. Have beautiful days, nights, however you're listening. Whatever it is. Enjoy your sacred craft, your soul craft, your sacred expressions. Remember to contact Alanna for the Sacred Expressions course, as well as classes that are coming up. And we'll share. Do we have our emails?
We can post it.
Oh yeah, we'll share our contact info so you all can contact us as well. So yes, send us your questions, send us anything for Ask a Mystic, and we love you.
Bye.
Bye.